Good morning. I'm Leandra the TBR0, and you're coming to the library with me today. With the amazing Readathon 1 week away starting today and a library shift in about 30 minutes, I thought it'd be the perfect time to restock my library book haul shelf and make sure that I have as many options as possible at the start of June before the Readathon starts, specifically spooky and LGBT plus authors. Just that I have all these options. Am I going to read within the genre all month? Probably not. Am I going to read all LGBT plus authors all month? Probably not. But I also just want to have the options so I'm not scrambling, freaking out, and I have physical books to flip through to see if they fit a prompt or not. So I'm going to be taking you with me on my shift. We'll be perusing the shelves. I'll be grabbing some books and also doing some work because, you know, it's my job. But then when we come back, I'll show you all of the books I've taken from my own library and show you just how ready Team Spooky is for June 1st. Pardon this brief interruption from Leandra in the future. I very randomly ended up deciding to just create some amazing readathon predictions as far as how I'm going to do, how my team's going to do, what certain events or actions are going to be taking place throughout the amazing readathon, just because I thought it could be really fun. For instance, what prompts might occur, what cities might be dropped. I know nothing, by the way. I am just the co-host for Team Spooky, meaning that I'm pretty much allowed to know absolutely nothing. So those are all just going to be really random and silly, but I'll be providing those just after my visit during my working hours at the library and when I come back to show you my book haul. So stay tuned for that. It honestly was a lot of fun, and my plan is hopefully at the end of June to kind of rewatch this section and just reveal to everyone how wrong I was, because let's be honest, none of these predictions are actually going to come true, but a girl can hope. And that ends my interruption. Enjoy my visit / work. I don't know why I keep saying visit. I promise I work at the library. Enjoy my shift at the library. Okay. Bye, everyone. All right, it's time for me to go to work, so let's go. I have returned from work. I changed my shirt for amazing readathon purposes, and now I'm ready to talk about all of the books that I ended up borrowing while I was working at the library today. So a good amount of these I already had on my shelves. I actually have a library section in my bedroom because where else am I going to put all of them? But what I do need to say first is that yes, I ended up borrowing a lot of books. However, I am allowed to do that because at my library, we have a capacity of 75 borrows per patron. I know that might sound like a lot to some people or not a lot. I've heard some people have their libraries allow them up to 100 borrows, which is just kind of crazy. Apparently we're really trustworthy, us readers. So I probably have somewhere between 40 and 50 books currently out at my library for physical copies. That doesn't count Libby or Hoopla, and I'm feeling very ready, or at least as ready as you can be for the amazing readathon. Before I get into them though, what I think would be really fun is providing some predictions as far as how my amazing readathon is going to go. So some of these are going to be more ridiculous than others, but I'm really excited of just providing predictions or guesses, maybe some goals, and then at the end of my amazing readathon experience, really figuring out how right was I. So yeah, let's do some predictions first. Out of my 10 city prompts, I predict that all 10 of them are going to at least fit the spooky genre bonus points, and how about 5 of them minimum will fit the LGBT plus points. For sightseeing prompts, I'm going to guess / predict that I will accomplish 25 out of 50. That's a lot actually, but I'm gonna stand by it. I'm gonna predict that every single team, all 5 teams, will receive at least 1 punishment throughout the experience. So that means that at some point during some leg, one team will end up getting last, or each team will end up getting last once. So each of us will have received a punishment prompt at some point during the readathon. I feel like that's a risk because I know that during the amazing readathon last year, red team didn't get any punishments. That was the team I was on. But because it's genre, I think we could be seeing some fluctuations more than we did last year. So that's why I'm thinking that each team will get last at least once. I think the emoji that I'm going to be using the most throughout the readathon is obviously going to be the ghost. And then after the ghost, it's going to be the knife because we are the stabby ghosts. But aside from team emojis, I feel as though I'm feeling the upside down smiley face this month. That feels about right. For prompts, this is going to be tough. I won't speak on any that well, I guess I can. Should I? I don't have any knowledge, but I did watch Shay's video as far as 10 tricks and tips for surviving the amazing readathon, and there were some hints, some that were a bit more obvious than others in my opinion. So I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm just gonna guess some really random prompts and we're gonna see what happens. There's usually it's only happened once because this is the second year amazing readathon has happened, but I feel as though we usually in general see a cover prompt, and I'm wondering if this year the cover prompt might be floral. So maybe there'll be flowers or something to do with nature on the cover. Because it's Pride Month, I think it could be really fun to provide, I have an idea. Okay, I have a prediction that one of the prompts may involve all the colors on the Pride flag. Because it's Pride Month, we're reading LGBT plus reads, but I also have a reasoning for it. There is a lot of history within certain cities, certain regions of the world for and about LGBT plus people, and so I could see it connected to a certain city, and one that's coming to mind right now is Amsterdam, because I know that Amsterdam in the Netherlands is known for having really huge pride celebrations, and I'm 99% sure we didn't do Amsterdam last year, and I can't imagine that she would repeat prompts / repeat cities. So yeah, I don't think we did Amsterdam last year. So yeah, speaking of cities, why not just throw out a few cities that I think might be predictions for genuinely no reason? Because I have no knowledge of anything, and I just think this could be really funny if I throw them out. So let me give myself 10 cities, and one of them will be Amsterdam, and then we're just gonna see if I hit any of them. It'd be funny if I did, but I probably am gonna get all of them wrong. We started in New York City last year, so we might start in the US again. But did we have a prompt in Canada? I'm trying to remember if we had something like Vancouver. Okay, we're just gonna go guesses. Okay. Here are my 10 city predictions based on nothing at all. Toronto, Chicago, Buenos Aires, Amsterdam, Auckland, New Zealand, they'll probably be at the end of the trip. Antwerp, just because I love Antwerp, Belgium. I used to live there and I miss it every day. Istanbul, Kolkata. Two more. Oh, I don't think we really did anywhere Nordic or up very north in Europe. So how about Helsinki? Did we do Vienna? Vienna, Austria. No, Morocco. Okay, I finally locked it in. Oh, I'm gonna be so wrong. None of those cities are gonna come up. I also predict that I'll probably DNF 5 books in the month of June because there's not gonna be much time to think about it. As soon as I stop feeling a book, if I feel like it's gonna slow me down, I feel like I'm not liking it and I can't push through to the 51%, I'm just gonna DNF it quick and move forward. So I'm thinking I'm gonna DNF 5 books minimum. The genres that I'm gonna see most obviously involve spooky genres, probably more so mystery and horror, I'm thinking. But outside of the spooky genre, I will probably lean on sci-fi and maybe a little bit of romance just to get through those really quickly. Romance. I'll keep it on the list, we'll see. Oh, other prompts. I completely forgot. So I already mentioned the floral, like flowers, whatever. I also mentioned the pride flag, like having all colors on the flag, on a cover. How about some things that go inside a book? Maybe a book that features first and third person POVs. That would be kind of difficult, but it could be something. A book published in your birth year. Maybe a book with something sweet on the cover, so maybe like a pastry or something like that. I'm really leaning into the cover prompts and I feel like that's too much. A book set in some type of forest or woodsy area, depending on where the location is. Maybe it'll be known for tourism for hiking and such, like a wintry kind of setting where you would need like a mountainside and forest woodsiness. Something. It could be even something dealing with a political system, especially if we are somewhere that involves, you know, say like the UN or something else. So like for instance, The Hague in the Netherlands. But did we do that last year? I can't remember anything. Did I participate last year? Apparently not, because my memory is gone. Did we do The Hague? I think we did. No. Yes? Oh my gosh. And I was made a co-host. Well, good luck, Team Spooky. Okay, I think those are all the predictions that I'm willing to make at this point because... Oh, wait, hold on. Jump scare. Okay, so actually I'm predicting that I probably will have at least one star read in June just because I'll be reading so many books. And while I'm going to be encouraging myself to DNF, there might be a 1 star that squeezes in. With that said, I would argue that my most common range will be between 3.75 and 4.75. I feel like that's a good mark because I'll be leaning on some really great books that in this pile I already have really high predictions for it. And I think that I'll get at least 3 5 stars for the month of June. That actually might be pretty low. Should I raise it? I'm gonna challenge myself, I guess, predict 5 stars in June, mainly because we've got 10 books for the legs, for the cities, and then we have sightseeing prompts and face off, and it would be really crazy if I didn't get at least 5 stars in the month of June. So that's my final prediction. Okay, without further ado, let's see which books I grabbed in my library haul. We're gonna start with the ones that I've had on my shelves for, over the past week or so, and then we'll get to the new arrivals. She's Not Sorry by Mary Kubica. I'm pretty sure this is the latest book by Mary. Where I'm on a first name basis with her. It just came out in April. There's a lot of people on hold for it, to be honest. So if I am gonna read it, it would probably have to be at the beginning of the month. It's a thriller. I've never tried this author before, and I know that she wrote Local Woman Missing. I know one friend who loved this book and one friend who didn't. Local Woman Missing, I mean. So this is going to be a risk, but it is a thriller and it does have like a tree setting, a bridge, so there could be something going on the cover. The Clinic by Kate Quinn. This is also something that I think just came out last year and it has been on my list. It's a chunkier thriller. It looks like it's in a secluded setting. The idea of clinic makes it seem like more of a psychological thriller, and I don't know much more about that, but cliffside, coastal setting, that was used last year, so I can't imagine it'll be used again, but you never know. I have an option just in case. Now we're going outside of the genre. The Invisible Library by Genevieve Cogman. This might have some elements of mystery and intrigue because it does say clever, creepy, and elaborate, but it just seems really fun. It's set in a library, and yeah, it'd be really great if I could read this for fun, but probably not for a leg prompt if I can, because I just made the prediction that I'm going to try and read spooky genre books for those 10 books. We'll see how it goes. A Natural History of Dragons. I think that this could be a really great palate cleanser because it's a bit cozy, it's fun. We've got an elderly main character who just, I think I'm gonna absolutely adore. Danny Dabbles loved this, and you know, she's someone I can really trust. So adding it to the list as a fantasy, maybe just to switch up the monotony of like all these spooky reads I have. Alatsue. This one is really interesting because it's gonna fit for spooky because there is a mystery element. It's a genre blend though, so there is some fantasy going on here. It's by an Indigenous author and someone who's a part of the LGBT+ community. So a lot of pointage could happen here. It's YA, and that can be hit or miss for me, but I'm really intrigued by it. There's some really cool illustrations too, which I think will be eye-catching. We'll see if I can get the audio with it because I feel like that would be also lovely. So we are gonna see if I end up reading this in June. Another slice of life, kind of cozy palette cleanser, Floating Hotel. I want to read this so badly. It is sci-fi, so it definitely wouldn't fit for spooky, and I think it's supposed to be like really warm and lovely, but I want to read it so badly. It seems so fun. I love the cover, and I don't really know anything else beyond that. I think it's obviously set in a space hotel, Floating Hotel. Okay, Leandra, just read the title, you know what it's about. But yeah, so this one I feel like is pretty short, so I could count this for sightseeing. The Fury by Alex Michaelides. This would be the first time I ever read this author. I know that he's written The Silent Patient as well as The Maidens, and someone had mentioned that in the epilogue, apparently it is given away, those other 2 books, because they're in somewhat the similar universe, but I don't think I really care that much. I can always just skip the epilogue because most books, let's be honest, don't need an epilogue, but it's, you know, a newer release, and I feel like it could be a quick read in case I really need to kind of catch up on legs as well. The New Couple in 5B by Lisa Unger. This is an author I've meant to try before. I think that she came out with a Christmas thriller recently this year, and that was something that I almost picked up. I didn't, but she's an author that a lot of people tend to like in the mystery thriller genre, and this one is set in an apartment, city, urban setting, I'm imagining, 5B. So we're gonna see what happens. It kind of is giving me Lucy Foley, the Paris apartment vibes, only because of the setting of what I'm thinking it's gonna be. I also haven't read that book, so that could be an option for me if I ever wanted to pick it up. But yeah, if I need an urban setting, I feel like this could be the one to go with. The Bandit Queens. I ended up picking this up a little while ago, mainly because I know I have to read it for a project that is all the way planned for July, but I really don't want to leave it to the last minute, so I might have to find a way to read this in June, just so I kind of lessen the pressure for later Leandra. But I know that this is a favorite of a lot of booktubers that are my friends, including Nicole from Dusty Book Sniffers. So yeah, we'll see if I can fit this in somewhere. No One Can Know. I'm 100% saving this for June, mainly because it's by Kay Alice Marshall. I actually have one of her horror middle grades on my co-host favorites, so if you're looking for GRC, maybe read that book. But with adult, she tends to write thrillers. I ended up reading What Lies in the Woods with a friend, and we had a really good time with it. It was fun. I think we both ended up giving it 4 stars just because it was an interesting narrative. So I'm definitely willing to try her again, and this is her newest release. So this, plus the fact that it is spooky, and we've got an LGBT+ author, I could get a lot of points for this one. The Resort. This one I picked up mainly because it seems super perfect for summer, you know, a tropical summer setting, I'm assuming, and maybe it'll be closed setting, so only a handful of suspects, closed circle, and I really don't know anything else beyond that. I'm assuming someone's gonna die. Welcome to Paradise. We hope you survive your stay. There are 3 rules to following during a vacation. leave the past behind, always be careful who you trust. If someone discovers who you are, run. Oh, okay, so maybe some like secret identities going on. This one's a bit chunkier. It doesn't look like it on screen, but it feels heavy. Yeah, so it's about 360 pages. For a thriller, I would argue that's kind of chunky. So yeah, we'll see if I can gravitate towards this one at some point in June, if the prompts allow. The last book that's just already been on my shelves from the library is The Night of the Storm. Again, I really like secluded settings, so whether it be off in an isolated cabin or a clinic or a resort of some sort, but also bad weather that forces seclusion too. So this one seems really interesting. It does feel as though it's maybe like rich people problems, especially because the house is ginormous on the cover, so that's not someone who is like living a like American middle-class life, but yeah, I'm willing to give it a try. And now for the books that I just got today, so let me grab those. Oh my gosh, okay, I have so many books and a lot of them are on my lap, so let me try to rearrange this so I'm not sinking into my chair. I swear these books have like weighed me down. I feel like I'm just like lower on the camera, but anyways, so a handful of these, because of how short they are, I'm saving them for sightseeing or for the face-off weekend. So especially the graphic novels that you are going to see, those ones are 100% going to be saved for face-off weekend. Remote Control. I'm not sure how scary this is. It could certainly be a sci-fi horror genre blend, but for the moment, I'm just imagining that it's sci-fi, and it looks really good. It feels as though it may be having some social commentary on some climate fiction, because the face has some fern surrounding her, which is really fascinating to me. I've been meaning to try this author as well. So yeah, saving that for sightseeing, again as a palate cleanser, or possibly for face-off weekend. Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. I haven't read this before, but it is a classic horror, and I've read some things by Daphne du Maurier before, just not this one. And I'm also reading this for a vlog for July, so again, if I could get ahead, that'd be great, but we'll see if the Amazing Readathon, yeah, decides the prompts in my favor. Michael Crichton's The Andromeda Strain. This one I'm thinking could be a really excellent genre blend for me, because Crichton is known for writing sci-fi thrillers, and those could go for Team Spooky or for Team Sci-Fi, and it's quite short, so again, if I need a certain palate cleanser, I'll probably lean on this, and I would save it for sightseeing, because it is a bit short when it comes to the, city prompts. I'm not going to be that person who reads, tomes. I'm not going to go above 400 pages. I'm just going to tell you right now, as far as the city prompts go. But yeah, I probably won't go under 200 for those as well. And this one looks like it might just be just around 200 pages. 250. That still seems too short for me. So probably a safe medium will be like 275 to 400. Okay, this one I'm really excited for because it is The Bell in the Fog. This is the second book in the Evander Mills series. I actually put Lavender House, the first book, as one of my co-host favorites. So if I read this, then I'll be giving myself not only extra GRC because it follows the series, but also it's in my genre. It's spooky genre, it's a mystery, and on top of that, the author is a part of the queer community. So like this, it has to fit. Brie, please make sure that this fits, because I'm gonna get all the points for it. The Terraformers. This is by Annalee Newitt, someone who I've been meaning to try, another queer author, so I could get those points. It is sci-fi, and I'm 99% sure that it's not gonna be spooky. It might be dystopian, but I feel as though it's not gonna lean enough for me to feel comfortable giving it spooky genre points. We'll see after I've read it, but my intention is to more so save it for sightseeing when I need a palate cleanser. This one might take people by surprise. The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. I said earlier, I think that I'm not really a romance reader, but I have to read this for a project too. And also I have read one book by Sarah Adams before. I've completed it. Oh, two actually. One I liked, the other one I didn't. So this is going to be a bit of a risk, but like I said, it's summer. It seems like perfect summer vibes and something I can get through quickly when I'm in between cities. Also a sports romance, I think. Listen for the Lie. This is a brand new mystery thriller, and the director at my library where I work recommended it to me. I put it on hold and it just came in. So we'll see how it goes. I know it's got a podcast element and she said it went pretty quickly for her. So we'll see if I get to it. And now for a graphic novel montage, because I have quite a few. Black Sad, A Silent Hell, 100% saving this for Face Off. I've read a collection of the original Black Sad, the first 3 volumes together. I own it and I've been meaning to get back to it. It's very hard boiled and some anthropomorphism going on, which is pretty fun, but also very graphic. So be aware of that. Also a translation, which is super fun. The first 3 volumes of Something is Killing the Children. I don't think I'm gonna like it, but I'm giving it a chance. And if I read all 3 volumes, I don't think I'd feel comfortable giving myself the 300 points, where if you read 3 manga, you could technically count it for a leg and do 300 points. I don't think I feel comfortable doing that. I'm just going to save this for Face Off weekend. Now that I think about it, I don't really know how Face Off weekend's going to work this time around, so we'll see if these work, if it's done the same way it was, which I know it's not going to be. So anyways, another Black Sad. This one is Amarillo, and it seems like it's a bit sunnier, but also still kind of depressing. So we'll see how it goes. This one I am so excited about, Where the Body Was. This is a mystery graphic novel. I would argue that when it comes to genre, graphic novels don't have as many options for mystery and thriller as they do others. So I'm really, really pleased to see that this has been published, and I hope it continues. I hope they have a series and we just get more mysteries, because it looks really great. And I just, look at that. It's got like a map of the neighborhood. I'm telling you, this is right up my alley. Lore Olympus Volume 6. I am 100% reading this at some point in June, mainly because I know that there's going to be a list of patrons waiting for it. So this is probably going to be read in the first week for some type of sightseeing prompt. Unless the due date allows me to keep it until Face Off weekend, that probably makes more sense. And finally, we're gonna try James Bond in graphic novel version. I've actually never read any of Ian Fleming's original works, and I don't really have much interest, mainly because I have heard that every single villain he has provided James Bond to go after is someone with a disability, and that's honestly not great. And it shows that it hasn't aged very well, so it's a classic I really have no interest in reading. But a modern spin with a graphic novel kind of version, I could be behind this, and I won't feel like I'm wasting my time as much. So on the TBR it goes. I still have an entire bag of books to go through, so we're not done yet. Treasure in the Lake. This is a middle grade mystery graphic novel too. So I'm really looking forward to it, and it looks really cute. So this will just be a lovely afternoon with this eventually. Not Quite a Ghost. This seems pretty spooky. We might be dealing with a haunting, and it's middle grade, so another quick read. Exit Black. Oh my gosh, this one has been pretty anticipated for me because it fits the sci-fi thriller genre blend. It's a new release at my library, and I meant to read it this month in May. Didn't get to it, but I feel as though this could be a really quick sightseeing prompt too. Plus, it's set in space. I think it also features a hotel. It has an orbiting laboratory that is now a space hotel for financial reasons. So oh my gosh, I love the idea of hotels in space. What can I say? The House That Horror Built. This is another new release, and it looks so fun. So hopefully this counts for something, because I can't bring it back to the library without reading it. Plus, it has a blurb by Carissa Orlando, the author of The September House, who I also love. I love that book, so I'm feeling good about it. The Z Word. This is another one that I am determined to read in June, mainly because it has zombies. It says the first Pride was a riot. The last Pride is a bloodbath. It's also by a queer author, so I'm gonna get all the points for this one. It's part of the spooky genre because obviously it's zombies and it's scary, but also kind of funny. And just look at the kind of comic cover. That is literally my bread and butter. So I'm actually probably among, what am I saying? It's among the most anticipated titles in this haul. One of Us Knows, again, by the water, so maybe some type of water setting will be involved. It looks super spooky, super dark, and another thriller that I don't really know anything about, but it's a new release and it does look really interesting. Another book that I am just over the moon to have received. By receive, I mean I ended up requesting it and I was the first person on the list when it came in, because it's a brand new book. We just got it in the library. Escape Velocity. This one is by Victor Manibo, and it's also by a queer author, and it is sci-fi mystery. It's another hotel in space, and I I'm over the moon. I'm over the moon. It's a murder mystery set in like hospitality setting. And oh gosh, you can tell like what I'm into right now. It's crazy. I'm really, really hoping that I can read Escape Velocity in June for a city prompt. That would be perfect. Ghost Station, another spooky book that also is sci-fi. So we see the genre blend that I like the most. This one's by S.A. Barnes. I did end up reading Dead Silence by her, and I really loved that. And I've been holding off on Ghost Station just because I have heard mixed things. Not really everyone's loved it. So that's kind of disappointing. I've heard it's a bit of a slow read, and that's not great to hear when you're entering a readathon that literally drops a prompt every couple of days. So we'll see, but I think I would be remiss if I didn't grab it. A House with Good Bones by T. Kingfisher. This one fits the spooky prompt. Obviously it's horror and it's pretty short, so I think I would reserve this for a sightseeing prompt. I've also never read anything by T. Kingfisher. I know. So hopefully this is the right one to start with because it's the one I borrowed, and I am excited. I've heard good things. So the last stack that is on my legs includes Homebody. This is a YA graphic novel, also by an LGBT plus author, and I'll probably be saving it for Face Off Weekend. Another YA graphic novel, also by an LGBT plus author, also going to be saved for Face Off Weekend. This one seems really outdoorsy. Oh, it looks great. Also an award winner. So I wonder if a prompt could be an award-winning prompt or something, like a book that's won an award. Interesting. Pulitzer? Is that Swedish? Stockholm? I've already set my predictions, but that could be a city and a prompt. Bunnicula. This one is a middle grade novel that's honestly a classic. I think it came out in the 60s or 70s, and I have been meaning to read it. It's really short, it's really quick, so I would be counting it for Face Off Weekend. I don't think I'd feel comfortable counting it for sightseeing just because it's literally gonna take me like maybe a half an hour. So I'll keep it in mind though. It looks so fun. This next one I 100% found while I was shelf reading at the library. It's something that we periodically do when it's really slow. I just double check that the books are where they should be, that the books on our shelves are ours, because sometimes we find other libraries' books on our shelves somehow, and everything else. So The Swifts. This one says A Dictionary of Scoundrels, and it is a mystery. Her aunt gets pushed down the stairs and she's got to figure out what happened. So I think this is going to be really funny, but also kind of suspenseful, because I mean, what the heck? Is it a relative? What has happened in her family? Bad Cree by Jessica Johns. This also fits spooky, and it's by an LGBT plus author who's also Indigenous. A friend of mine really enjoyed this, thought it was pretty thought-provoking, even though some things were a bit far-fetched and common sense wasn't followed. I still want to give it a try, and I think that this could really work for me, especially again, woodsy setting. We'll see. Burn the Negative. This is one I just found on my shelves as well. I was looking in the adult section and I found it and I was like, interesting, let me look into this. And it is a thriller, but on top of that, the author is LGBT plus, Josh Winning. So this could really get me some bonus points too, if it's a prompt. And for more sightseeing or face-off weekend options, I ended up grabbing 3 books by Shannon McGuire, also an author who is part of the LGBT plus community. And I can't remember what the series is called. Lost Children? Wayward Children. There we go. So I grabbed the first 3 volumes in the Wayward Children series because I think this could be good palette cleansers as well. You see a theme here. Also just super quick. So sightseeing, face-off, I'm looking at you. The last book is Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey, also an LGBT plus author. Yep, and something spooky, horror, haunted house like. I feel very prepared, unless I've just overwhelmed myself with too many options, and it's gonna make it very hard for me to choose what to read. We're gonna find out. But you know what? Amazing Readathon is a week away, and it is what it is. So the moral of the story is, do what you can to prepare, but try not to stress out too much. Your co-hosts, the producers, and mods within this Amazing Readathon are really here to help you, to support you in whatever way we can. So please use us as resources if you need to, because we don't want anyone to feel too overwhelmed or stressed or fear that they're letting their teams down, when all we really want you to do is have fun. So thank you everyone for being here with me as I went to the library, did my work as a good employee, came back, showcased all the books that I am hoping to read, or okay, let's be honest, I'm not going to read them all, but whatever ones that I read will be in this pile, and allowing me to provide some really zany predictions. This is the time where I thank you so much for watching to the end. Make sure that you like the video if you enjoyed it, if you had a good time. Also comment if any of these books that caught your eye are ones you want to read, ones that you have read that you can support me reading, and you're like, yep, Leandra, you're gonna like this, or just, I don't know, any other suggestions, because at this point, clearly I have a problem that I think you should help me continue with. And also, thank you so much to my patrons over at the Manor. I recently started a Patreon, and you all have just been so supportive and so kind and patient with me as I figure out this new step in my booktube life. So thank you so much to my sleuths. Thank you so much to my witnesses. Also to my suspects. We're keeping an eye on you, especially because we've recently had 2 murders. So speaking of, thank you so much to my corpses. We still have Paula. She's still going strong, even though she is a cadaver. And also to Rope Crewman. Thank you so much for becoming my 2nd corpse ever. I really do appreciate all of you at whatever tier you're here for, but yeah, thanks guys so much. Be sure to subscribe if you're new here, or if you've come back and you're like, I actually kind of like this girl, because then you'll continue to have me suggested to you by YouTube, and hopefully you would get notified every time another video like this comes up. So thanks everyone. I hope you have a lovely reading month, whether it's ending May strong, starting off June, a little bit flustered, a little bit excited, or any other time of the year that you find this. So yeah, thanks everyone. Have a great day. Bye.